Hello and welcome back to Pokémon Legends Z-A. For today, we are going to do the final side mission, as well as hunt for a purple pumpkin. I am dressed for as Halloween-y as I can be. Part of the scary part of this outfit is that two of its pieces together cost 200,000 Pokédollars. And as we all know, unchecked capitalism is terrifying. Gotta spend a few mega shards. And now it's time for reward match number 20, because that will unlock the next side mission. I suppose this is the first time we've faced each other on equal footing as participants. A spooky howdy to you too, Califor. Also, there have been some changes made to my team. Apparently Vinny just loves putting stuff on the floor. I've also, between streams, reached rank A in ranked. It took me exactly 20 battles, of which I came in not first. Show us both what you've learned over your long life, Grandpa. I have complete faith in you. During the course of those 20 battles, I came in not first in exactly 2 of them, one of which I got second and the other of which I got third. So I did decently well for myself in ranked. And yes, Califor, I did see the new Stories 3 trailer. I didn't have Octopus shows back up on my bingo card. Specifically Old Octopus. But if I go home having lost, my daughter will be unhappy with me. Yes, the other changes made to my team since last time, I believe, I have added this guy, though he's still leveling up. And I have added this large blue woman in place of a large green woman. And yep, now that we have done our 20th reward match, a new side mission has unlocked over here. And before I do it, just a quick update on how my shiny Mega Dex is going. I've got everyone here in the slots they belong in. So I've got a decent selection so far, and some of them are even alphas. Scalade's an alpha, Lopunny's an alpha, Camerup's an alpha. But most of these are not alpha. Ideally, I would like to have shiny alpha megas, but going for a shiny is rare enough. Going for a shiny alpha for some of these is untenable. And I learned something else between streams. These are all alpha Pumpkaboos. I had previously assumed alpha Pumpkaboo only came in medium because I caught 6 and they were all medium. And also I caught 3 alpha Gorgeists that were all medium, but yeah, the alphas come in all the sizes too. You'll note the size of the image changes with every one of these, and of course the jumbos sound different. Outlander, I did have a Gallade for a good while, but I dropped it for a Gardevoir at one point, and then I never undropped it. Greetings. I've been expecting you. Lady Jacinthe is waiting for you. Please come to the Society of Battle Connoisseurs battling area. Le Super Tournoi de Jacinthe O. Wonder what the O is. And also, yes, Outlander, the fact that green Pokemon tend not to get green shinies is pretty good. I rather like that they tend to get blue shinies. My dear Garnet, you have my sincerest thanks for requesting the Infinite Z-A Royale to be held as your reward for reaching rank A. I didn't request it. It was requested for me and forced upon me, and it was going to happen whether it got requested or not. So really, I feel like I'm still owed a wish. In fact, it delighted me so much that I decided to hold a tournament of my own. It is called Le Super Tournoi de Jacinthe O. So, Jacinthe here. Her character design is totally fine. I have exactly one issue with it, and it's her mouth. I believe alone, among all the characters in this entire game, her mouth becomes triangular when she opens it. Like, it looks like her mouth and her mouth only was inspired by the shapes that mouths tended to take in at least the early days of the Pokemon anime. And it feels out of place. That might be part of the whole, oh, she's the fairy type user thing and she's supposed to seem otherworldly. But it just makes her and her alone seem out of place. Care to guess what the O stands for, Garnet? Well, it's not going to be ordinary. It's not going to be Oasis. And so it's down to out of this world or only, and I think only is probably the more comedic one, so... Correct. Splendid. This is a tournament between only you and me, thus Le Super Tournoi de Jacinthe O. If it's only between you and me, then why is it also between you and you 6 times? Or I guess 3 times. How do you determine which one of you wins? No matter how many battles you win, your next opponent will always be me. Furthermore, you may face me as many times as you like, whether or not you manage to win the entire tournament. So, do you understand now? No, not really. Care to explain in more detail? Honestly, as much as I know you love the sound of my voice, that is no way to keep me talking. Now, let us begin. I am certain you will fully appreciate my brilliance once you experience it. Let the tournament begin, I suppose. Though, again, how do you determine which one of you wins? Yeah, the way her mouth does this looks super out of place in this game. She's the only character whose mouth does this. I will say one nice thing about this tournament, we get to hear this music during every battle. Anyway, Metagross is going to make pretty quick work of her entire team, I'm sure. As well it should. It is a Metagross. and the Pokemon that carried me to rank A in the ranked Royale. Though weirdly enough, I said that it took me exactly 20 battles to reach rank A. And it did. I've done exactly 21 battles because I just wanted to see if I got anything for winning a battle at rank A. And no, you don't get anything special for that. But something weird happened, because the game keeps track of the types of the Pokemon that you have used in ranked battles and gives you titles based on them. There's one title for having used X number of any given Pokemon type. So one battle for using 20 dragon types, one battle for using 20 flying types, etc., etc. I singled out those two specifically because I used the same exact team for all 20 battles. Metagross, Dragonite, Greninja. All 20 battles. When I finished my 20th battle, I got the title for using 20 steel types, 20 psychic types, 20 water types, and 20 dark types. But my dragon type and flying type titles were one match behind, despite the fact that I literally had Dragonite in the first slot for every single match. Dragonite is the only Pokemon that appeared in all 20 matches, and yet one of them it did not get counted. I have no idea why, and it bothers me. The agony of defeat is nothing compared to the joy of witnessing such magnificent might. A most heartfelt congratulations on your victory. Oh, so it wasn't the first Jacynth that won each one. The second Jacynth won in the second battle. Why? I must know. How did you determine which one of you won each battle? I will be your opponent in the next battle as well. Are you ready to begin? Bet your Metagross is going to make quick work of her team again. How funny would it be if her team, like, gained a few levels with every single match here? But it appears to be the same levels as before. Turns out when you've got a fairy team, and fairies tend to be light. Wait, did she have Sylveon before? Anyway, Metagross, heavy slam, good. I don't think that thing protected me before. Also, it's interesting that Mega Clefable gains the flying type. Fade out the Protect with a Thunder Punch, and then destroy with Heavy Slam. And she says the same thing after you beat her the second time. A most heartfelt congratulations on your victory. And the bond says the same thing as before that I didn't read last time because it's just allow me to heal your Pokemon. I will be your opponent for the semi-final match as well. Are you ready to begin? I wonder who our opponent in the finals is going to be. Also, the second Jacinth won the battle to get here. I still need to know how she decided which one of her won her one-on-one matches against herself. Still got the Sylveon. Maybe she had it the first time and I just forgot. And we have seen this Auroras use Protect, so let's bait that out. On that Protect there, Clefable. And now I bet these two are going to say the exact same things they said. Yep, heartfelt congratulations, allow me to heal. And she will be my opponent for the final match as well. Something tells me no iteration of Jacinth is going to get through my Metagross, especially since they all have the same Pokemon at the same levels. Sorry, Jacinth, but a Fairy user just isn't a good matchup for a Metagross user. Especially not with how kind of busted Heavy Slam can be in this game. Comes out relatively quick, always hits. Does damage based on how much a Pokemon outweighs other Pokemon. And this is an Alpha Metagross we're talking about. Not much in this game is going to take less than full damage from a Heavy Slam from this guy. Give me my Lux Ball trophy, please.
Congratulations, you are the champion of Le Super Tournoi de Jacinto.
Also, considering it's French, it's probably Jacinth or something like that.
Now, to the victor goes the grandest prize of all, which is... the right to battle me at any time forever.
Except you already said that I could do that at the start of the tournament. So I haven't won a prize at all. Congratulations. From the bottom of my heart, I commend your victory. That was LeBon saying that last one, right? Okay. Thanks for the 30 Lux Balls, though. That's a much better prize. Is it easy dealing with people who are well off? I would have thought it would have been kind of a chore given the things they're used to. More Pokemon means more comfort and joy. That can be true. Until your boxes start getting clogged up, in which case it starts feeling a little bit cramped. This lady here is suggesting that there is a maximum number of people who should be allowed to live in the city. And the moment she starts discussing ways to determine which people those are, it's going to be a very slippery slope into eugenics. And yeah, Califor, I'm pretty sure it is the same winner slots from the original tournament, so that they could recycle the asset more easily. Because that's a thing that people do when making games. But, yeah. Anyway, now I gotta find me a shiny pumpkin, or today will be for nothing. And let's see here, we've got 4... 5, 6, 7 pumpkaboos here at once. And assuming there are always 7 pumpkaboos, which seems about right, we can actually do some math. So, if I open up my calculator and divide 1023 by 1024, because I do have the shiny charm, we get our chances of not finding a shiny on any given check, and then we take that to the power of 7. And okay, on any given trip through Wild Zone 15, there is approximately a 0.7% chance that we will find a shiny pumpkaboo. And actually, rather than going all the way through Wild Zone 15, it's faster to warp to this cafe and then go this direction. It cuts down a tiny smidge of running. Also, if I find a shiny alpha whirlipede or scolipede, I will not be upset about that. And at night, I won't be upset if I find a shiny alpha bayonet. I do not need a shiny alpha Beedrill, though, because I already have one of those. I've already got more than enough Weedles to make a handful of shiny non-alpha Beedrills. But yeah, we're just looking for a 0.7% chance, which honestly isn't that bad. It's a higher chance than any given slot being, well, finding a shiny in here is a higher chance than having any given slot be an alpha jumbo or alpha extra small pumpkaboo. And I've found 2 of each of those, which I guess means it's unlucky that I haven't found a shiny pumpkaboo yet, but still, in terms of shiny odds, 0.7% is far from as bad as it gets. For instance, I'm eventually, if I want to get a shiny of everything that can mega, I'm going to need to get a shiny Aerodactyl. And shiny Aerodactyls in this game cannot be made easier to find with the presence of the shiny charm. And therefore, dang it. Gotta get a full odds shiny Aerodactyl. Thankfully, you can use, like, 30 fossils at a time and reset if you don't get one that is big enough, or not big enough, shiny enough. And so you don't have to have more than like 30 fossils, unless you want to be able to check more than 1 box per run. But still, the fact that it's full odds every time, no matter what, is not appealing. Can only hope that I also hit the 1% of getting it shiny alpha. So actually, it seems odd that it would be 1% for the alpha for the fossils, considering that everything else, if it has an alpha chance, that chance is minimum 5%. So maybe it's 5% for the fossils as well. But even if it is 5% for the fossils too, the chance of getting a shiny alpha fossil is very low. Also, the moment I get a shiny pumpkin, we're moving on to a different shiny ghost. Or maybe the moment I get 2 shiny pumpkins. I don't know. It depends how long it takes us to get 1 shiny pumpkin. All I know is, on average, I'm gonna have to go through here like, what, 101 times in order to get my hands on my first pumpkin? Ah, but if we count the times I've already gone through here, then we can knock off like at least 20. And that's the times that I've gone through here before today, mind you. And if I'm being super honest, I would rather have the shiny Pumpkaboo show up at night. Because during the day, you can find medium and extra small here. And at night, you can find large and extra large. And as I've stated multiple times, the most important stat is size. Is this like an extra small? This seems way smaller than any Pumpkaboo I've seen before. So if I catch it, I will be at a disadvantage in terms of my Pumpkaboo hunting. Because then we'll have to wait for it to respawn. Oh, it didn't get caught anyway. Well, not catching it still has the same chilling effect on my Pumpkaboo spawns. We are going to be going through with only 6 Pumpkaboos for a while. And Outlander, the distance for a shiny sound, guaranteed I will hear it if anything in here is shiny. Unless it's a Larvitar. I think the shiny sound plays at like, it's 30 or 40 meters. And it'll play again when you get close enough to target something. This game, they really don't want you to miss shinies. Say, get 1 shiny sound when you reach within a certain radius. Another shiny sound when you become able to target it. Not to mention, when you do target the thing, it gets the shiny icon, as well as having sparkles around its body constantly. They do not want players to miss shinies in this game. Like, between all of that and the fact that the game saves 10 shinies for you, in case you missed them the first time around. Yeah, game very generous with its shinies. Though apparently Pumpkaboos are a unique exception to that 10 saved shinies thing, because apparently, like, just something about the way Pumpkaboos work, given that they have different forms and sizes that are available during different times of the day, apparently that messes with the shiny saving slots. The prevailing assumption is that when a Pumpkaboo is generated, it does get saved into a slot, but if the time changes from day to night, and you go there at the time that the Pumpkaboo was not spawned, the game will be like, okay, we gotta spawn this in a Pumpkaboo slot. Hey, wait, this isn't a valid spawn in that slot, let's just delete it. Because during the day, you get small and medium Pumpkaboos. During the night, you get large and jumbo. And so if, say, during the day, we manage to find a small Pumpkaboo that is shiny, and it gets saved into one of our 10 shiny slots, but then at night, we go back. The game's like, okay, we gotta spawn in this small Pumpkaboo. Hey, wait, that's not a spot for a small Pumpkaboo. That only takes medium or large and jumbo. This is not a legal spawn. Deleted. Curbster, Ribbon Road was the original plan for today, but then I realized today was Halloween and I needed to do something a little bit more seasonal. And also I had one more side mission to do in this game, so I figured I might as well do that on camera too. So here we are, pumpkins. Correct, Outlander. If you find a shiny in this game, or rather, if a shiny gets spawned in this game, and the game saves after that point, then it will be always there until you do something that causes it to go away. Whether that be you scare it away, you catch it, you defeat it without catching it, and I think if you battle it and have it defeat you. Unless you take an action that causes it to get actively despawned and not just despawned due to distance or whatever, then it will always be there every time you go there until you cause it to despawn or you find 10 other shinies, where the prevailing assumption is that it deletes the least recent shiny from your 10 shiny slots. And then there's also the fact that shiny Pokemon have at least double the catch rate of non-shinies. So yeah, they just really do not want us missing shinies in this game. Like, you do still have to throw a ball and have it catch. But if you do throw a ball and have it catch, then it is more likely to result in an actual catch. And yeah. But yeah, it's things like that. Oh, we've got a shiny somewhere. It's you. We've got a shiny Pumpkaboo. We hit the thing. We got the target. And as you can see, that shiny Pumpkaboo had 3 arrows catch rate, whereas this one only has 1 arrow. So this one is less than 20%. Whereas the shiny one we just got was greater than 50% catch rate. So that alone tells you the difference in catch rates between shiny and non-shiny. And yeah, Outlander, shiny Beldum is still a bit of a chore to catch, but they go from when you knock them out having with a Lux Ball less than 20% chance to catch to having greater than 20% but less than 50%. So yeah, it is greater than a 2x multiplier. We know that. And yeah, we're going for a second pumpkin because, hey, it evolves. And if the Gourgeist itself ends up shiny, I'm not going to complain. But yeah, we're going for a second pumpkin, and then we'll start going for other ghosts. And Curbster, it's actually the shiny charm has 2 extra rerolls compared to past shiny charms. Is my understanding. It used to be shiny charm gave you 2 rolls total. Now it gives you 4. And so each each spawn, instead of being 1 in 4096, is 1 in like 1024.6. Whereas in past games, the shiny charm was effectively a doubling of your chances to find shinies. Now it is a quadrupling. And considering how quickly we can spawn Pokemon in this game, yeah, lots of people have lots of shinies in this game. And the fact that it saves shinies into slots has resulted in the rise of AFK shiny hunting methods, like using benches repeatedly to get shinies stocked up so that you can just go through and catch them later. I will admit, many of my shinies have been gotten through such benching methods. Though there are some benches that you cannot reliably use for that. Like the one in here, if you want specifically a Pumpkaboo, you cannot rely on that because every time you sit at a bench in this zone, you are killing any shiny Pumpkaboos that may have spawned. Just taking them out back and carving them to bits. But yeah, given how powerful the shiny charm in this game is, yeah, it does stand to reason why they made it take so long to actually get relative to other games. Other games, like literally every other game, as soon as they added home integration, you could just transfer in a full dex and get the shiny charm right off the bat. This game, if you want the shiny charm, you still gotta do 1,000 trainer battles. Yeah, Outlander, in terms of making different types of shinies, they did experiment with that once in Sword and Shield. Back when we had star and square shinies. And that didn't go over super well, so I'm not surprised they didn't make additional colors or ever really experiment with that sort of thing again. So, like, yeah, it's a thing. The funny about Pokemon of varying colors, they kind of did that in Pokemon Stadium on the N64, where your Pokemon's color would change depending on its nickname. So it used an algorithm based on the letters of a Pokemon's name, and you could make their colors change pretty dramatically. Like, it was 100% possible to get a Mewtwo that looked like what nowadays we would call a shiny Mewtwo, despite it not being shiny, just because it had a weird nickname. I know from a collection standpoint, I am perfectly content to have exactly one shiny color per Pokemon. Because, I mean, you just look at the Pokemon that have a ton of different forms. Like, Vivian, collecting all the shinies of that is a pain. I've done it, but it's a pain. And then you go for other things like Alchemy, where they were generous and made it so that there were effectively only 7 different shiny forms, because all the different swirly types were made visually identical. but the fact that the box still showed what swirly type they were, despite them being visually identical outside the box, resulted in me going for all 63 of them anyway. And that is why Alchemy is my #1 most owned shiny. My second most owned shiny is Beldum. I have more than an entire box of shiny Beldums. Because I wanted to get a shiny Beldum with the whatever genius mark I think it was that they had going on, with a higher chance during the time they had the shiny Beldum outbreaks. And in the process, I also found a rare mark shiny Beldum and 2 jumbo mark shiny Beldums. Literally found 3 much more rare marks before I got the freaking event mark. And then in this game, I've got, I think, like 8 shinies of the Beldum line because I wanted 1 shiny alpha, but then I got 2 at once. And at that point, it's like, well, I have to get a 3rd to complete the line. Otherwise, am I truly a Beldum collector? Thankfully, the very next shiny that I found was an alpha, so I didn't have to go too long. Which is actually quite lucky considering that Beldums and Metangs in this game, there's 2 spawners. One can spawn either Beldum or Metang, and one can spawn only Beldum. The Beldum only spawner has a 5% chance of delivering an alpha Beldum. The Beldum and Metang spawner has a 10% chance of giving an alpha Beldum and a 5% of alpha Metang, I believe. Which means that since the way I found them, it was a shiny alpha Beldum and a shiny alpha Metang, and then a shiny alpha Beldum with an alpha Beldum next to it. At best, I hit a 5%, a 5%, and a 10% back to back. At worst, it was 3 5% that I hit back to back. And I'm actually kind of hoping I don't find a shiny Pumpkaboo right now, because if the sun sank below the horizon, it would be dead. So yeah, good news. Time itself did not steal a shiny pumpkin from me right now. And now we get to look for bigger shiny pumpkins. As well as potentially a shiny alpha Bayonet, that would be nice. And I wouldn't mind a shiny alpha Haunter either. I do have a shiny Bayonet and I do have a shiny Haunter. But I don't have them in big. And as I've said before, largeness is the best stat. And I will stand behind that, because it is the absolute truth. Even if competitively it can be a disadvantage, though it isn't always, sometimes it is advantageous to be big. Still, largeness is the best stat. Because who cares about winning when you can be impressive? Also, I've won 19 of my 21 matches without having any non-alphas, so like, you can still win plenty fine without having the correct, most advantageous size. Though I suppose it does help that I was using 2 melee attackers. And for melee attackers, if you use an alpha, it does increase your ability to hit things. Excuse me. Gotta love pickups. Yeah, Outlander, I would love to have a really nice, shiny Mega Gengar. Again, I already have a shiny Haunter. It's ready to go. I would just love to have it in big. Where is that Haunter going? One of the Haunters just decided it had to return to its home planet. Yeah, I got 2 shiny Shuppets and a shiny Haunter in this very wild zone before I ever found a shiny pumpkin here. In fact, before I found all of the non-shiny Jumbo Alphas I needed. Which, in every single spawn point, a Jumbo Alpha at night is a 1 in 200 chance. 0.5%, because it's 5% on top of 10%. Every Pumpkaboo spawner has a 10% chance of delivering a Jumbo at night. Which is actually the best Jumbo Pumpkaboo rate we have ever seen. And then you gotta take 5% of those Jumbos to get a Jumbo Alpha. So yeah, you got 5% of 10%, which is 0.5%, which is 1 in 200, which is a lower chance than finding a shiny Pumpkaboo in general. But when you consider that you get 7 chances per trip. Also, I think I heard a Jumbo Alpha right at the start there. Let's actually do the math here. What's the chance of getting an Alpha Jumbo Pumpkaboo on any given trip through here? 0.005, or well, no, we want to invert that. 0.995 to the 7th power. There is a roughly 3.5, a little greater. Actually, if we round at the... why'd I go back in? I needed to warp. Yeah. Roughly 3.6% chance on any given run through to find a Jumbo Alpha Pumpkaboo. Oh, hello! This isn't a Jumbo Pumpkaboo. I kind of want a Jumbo or Alpha shiny Pumpkaboo. Not gonna lie. Because again, size is the most important stat. Wow, we got 2 Alpha Shuppets. But 3.6% to find any of the spawns as a Jumbo Alpha Pumpkaboo versus roughly 0.6% to find a shiny Pumpkaboo on a trip through here. So it's about 6 times more common. Now, the real issue is going to be finding someone I trust to help me evolve one of these Pumpkaboos. But then again, now that I've got 2 of differing sizes, my collector's spirit is telling me you must get all 4 times 2 so that you can evolve them all. Do it, do it, do it. Even though I know that's going to mean finding 4 1 in 10s. Also, I don't like accidentally placing a pin. I wish there were multiple types of pin that we could place in this game. Like, every other open world Nintendo game we have been able to place multiple different pins. And like, sure, this game's got a relatively small world, but we can only place one pin at a time. Yeah, Outlander, I know exactly the clip you're talking about, but also my discussion of probability is based in actual mathematic fact instead of immediately relying on mathematical falsehoods like his does. Like, even if you just take what he says and assume that all the things he says about given chances are accurate, the way he stacks them together, that's not how the math works. They don't multiply to actually result in the chances he says. So, like, even if you assume the base odds of everything he says are as he says, the combined odds are not what he says, and therefore he is wrong. But also he's wrong in the very start because, like, the base odds he gives are only true if you make certain other assumptions. And I don't like making assumptions like those when discussing probability. I just... There are some people who say, don't tell me the odds. I'm the type of person who's like, ooh, I really want to know the odds. Because, A, it lets you make more informed decisions when you know the odds of things, and B, it can be fun to see how much you went above or below odds when you finally get a result. Like, I am positive I have done fewer than 100 runs through here today. And yet, I have gotten 2 shiny Pumpkaboos. I am doing really good on odds. Because what, I spent like 20 minutes or so doing the side mission before I started running through here looking for pumpkins? Which means I've been looking for pumpkins for less than half an hour. Or probably about half an hour. And yet I've already found 2. And the chances of finding even 1 on a given run through here are 0.6%. I am doing very good on odds for pumpkins, which means I will now never find another one. Okay, here's the plan. If we reach daytime before finding another pumpkin, which is very likely, then we go looking for other shiny ghosts. Herbster, I have seen a video of someone giving this Pumpkaboo NPC a shiny Jumbo Pumpkaboo. She doesn't even say a single thing about it. Like, the game doesn't give you a prompt like, oh, this is a rare Pokemon, are you sure? Like Pokemon Legends Arceus did. And then the NPC doesn't even acknowledge that it's differently colored. It's kind of lame. And that's the last run through here we're getting today. Yeah, Curbster, they did Aegislash super dirty in this game, making it act like it still has stance change as an ability, even though it doesn't have an ability. I guess its stats do change, so it effectively has it, but it's also going to get KO'd during the stance change every single time. And so, yeah, they absolutely did Aegislash dirty, but it's actually kind of embarrassing. If you use an Eviolite Doublade in this game, you are going to put every single Aegislash to absolute shame. Because Stance Change Doublade just kind of ruins the competitive viability of Aegislash. Or not Stance Change, Eviolite Doublade. Because, yeah, it's got the defenses, always. And has got the attack always, and it doesn't have to stance change. So yeah, just Eviolite Doublade. Better than Aegislash. And now, the hunt for a shiny candle begins, because I need a shiny Chandelure for my alpha, or not my alpha dex, my shiny mega dex. Problem is, sometimes the candles hide behind the pillars, so you have to go closer than you otherwise would to check the spawns. Sometimes they both hide behind pillars, which is lame. It's actually faster to do this hunt via the knockout and respawn reset method. Unless you get lucky and have neither one behind a pillar. Then it's roughly even time-wise between doing the running or the respawn reset. At least on Switch 2. On a Switch 1, running is always going to be better. But respawn reset is less visually interesting. And therefore, we are running today. Also, I did quite a few respawn resets of these guys last night. For no benefit. Got nothing out of it. And since there's only 2 of them, this is honestly not the best hunt in the world, but it's the best shot we get at a shiny one of these guys. So with there being 2 of them, our chances are going to be in the gutter, I can tell you that much. Our chances of finding... I didn't see both of them. Now I've seen both of them. Our chances of finding a shiny Litwick from these 2 on any given check are 1 in 500. Slightly lower than 1 in 500, but we're rounding here. And therefore... on average, I will have to run back and forth 500 times before I find a shiny. There's an alpha. I would love to get an alpha shiny. Love, love, love it. Because part of me, again, wants to get the whole shiny mega dex in alphas. Even though I know for a fact that would be a nightmare to shiny hunt a bunch of those. Oh look, another alpha. In the same slot, which is always a little bit concerning when you see the exact same configuration of alpha and non-alpha, because it's like, wait, did I even respawn anything? You did. It's just, that's how it works out sometimes. Not a fan of when they see me, because then there's always a chance that they might try to move and thus get within a range where they won't despawn. And Outlander, I can't tell you about the actual odds, like in terms of a fraction. I can tell you that the odds of finding a shiny, at least one shiny among these two checks on any given check is 99.8047828674332. That's the odds of not finding a shiny, rather. But yeah, 99.8047828674332% are the odds of finding no shinies on any given check. Because the way I do it is I calculate it the way that's easier to do with a calculator. You look at the odds against, which in this case, we are also simplifying from 1024.6, I believe, to 1024 even. So I do 1023 over 1024 and then square it. Because those are the chances of finding not a shiny twice. And now the Pat Rats are back. I can probably just leave the Pat Rats, if we're being honest. I like getting rid of them because it keeps them from looking at me. But as long as they don't actually attack me, it's not an issue. So this guy clearly wants to mess with me. But I don't think he's got what it takes to actually hit me. Yes, Outlander, fractions are easier to understand, but that's why I at least convert things to percents instead of just saying the decimals outright. Because, like, saying 0.2%, that's at least somewhat understandable. And also, there's a reason that I converted even 0.2% to 1 in 500, because that, yes, that is immediately understandable. But when we're working with the types of odds we're working with, it is easier to do the math with decimals than with fractions. Because otherwise we have to multiply we have to multiply 1023 over 1024 by 1023 over 1024. Which, what, do you just multiply that straight across? I don't want to bother with that. And then simplifying it's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, I think you multiply it straight across when it's the same denominator, right? And then you also multiply the denominator. In which case, our chances are 1,046,529 over 1,048,576, which, yeah, that ain't as instantly graspable as the percentage. You gotta simplify it for the fractions to feel good. And simplifying it is difficult when you're dealing with numbers in the millions. What's this Klefki doing here? Usually you hang out over there. Congrats on your shiny Totodile, Curbster. I would love to get my hands on one of those myself. Considering I want to get an entire shiny Mega Dex. But thus far, I've only got a shiny Chikorita. And apparently they actually gave Chikorita, like, moves in this game. Gets Dazzling Gleam for coverage, which I guess makes sense because apparently Mega Meganium's a fairy type in addition to a grass type. So, like, Chikorita's actually not a terrible choice of starter in this game, unlike in Gold and Silver. Though I think in terms of type coverage and ability to do stuff at early parts of the game, I think Tepig is probably the ideal starter to pick for this game. Okay, now that these little jerks have actually hit me, it is time to eliminate them. Apparently Mega Starmie goes from being a special attacker, and a really good one at that, to being a physical attacker, which is just... why even? And judging by the fact that it gets a higher stat boost than any other Mega Pokemon, it seems likely that it's going to have the huge power ability. But when Mega Evolving completely changes what types of attacks you want to use, that's just not a competitively viable Pokemon. Califor, given that Megas and Terastallizing are both going to be in Pokemon Champions, and I think we also may have seen Dynamaxing, it's possible that Megas don't go away ever again. Because, like, Pokemon Champions looks like the game they're going to be using for actual VGC type stuff. Like the official competitive battling scene. And if that ends up being the case, then yeah, we might just have Megas forever. And yeah, Curbster, Frostlass having actually higher special attack than physical attack is a much needed change for her Mega. I'm willing to bet the reason standard Frostlass's attack and special attack were identical is just because Glalie is the Pokemon that has all stats the same and isn't a mythical. And so it's like, oh, what about the alternate evolution for this thing? How are we going to handle its stats? Well, you gotta have its attacking stats be the same. Now I must hydrate. I hope you folks are enjoying me running back and forth in this sewer with sometimes slightly more dynamic music playing. Because we do it for candles. Are there any other ghost types that I need for my shiny Megadex? Sableye. So we could have an alternate option to go for if this gets a little too old for us. I know it's starting to wear on my nerves a little. I don't like doing the same thing, the same exact thing, too often in a game. I tend to like mixing things up a little. Like if I am hunting for one type of shiny, I'll often, you know, just bounce to another hunt for a while when I get bored. So yeah, we might swap over to Sableye's at some point. And it looks like Sableye is the only other ghost type that I still need for my Megadex. So yeah, candles and gremlins. Or I guess it's, Sableye goes for gems, so maybe more candles and kobolds? Yeah, Outlander, I can definitely agree with the music in this sewer being Paper Mario 64 coded. Much like how the Rogue Mega Evolution battle music is Splatoon coded. Very sproingy. And I will absolutely agree that the shading, texturing, and the color of the lighting in this sewer definitely keep it from looking as boring or grody as many other sewers in video games. Like, most sewers aren't trying to look pretty in games. Even this one's trying to look kind of dirty, but the color choice and the shading they've got going on at least provide some warmth and make it feel relatively inviting for a sewer. And it's very rare to play a video game with a sewer section that you can describe as warm and inviting. I do love the times when both candles are plainly visible from a distance. Means I can abandon that check much sooner. Versus those times where I have to go all the way up to the front to see both of them behind pillars. Though admittedly, by the time I can see either one of them, they would absolutely have made the shiny sound. We got an alpha. But alas, alpha is not what I'm looking for. Though I will 100% accept an alpha shiny if the game so so deems to give me one. If the game would delight in giving me one, that would be even nicer. Heck, if it would delight in giving me two, that would be ideal. Actually, Outlander, my chances of getting a shiny Patrat here are relatively low because we're not doing a whole lot of respawning of these guys. They are mostly staying within 50 meters of us because they aggro to us like this. And in order to get a shiny Patrat spawn, we have to get Patrat despawns. And yeah, I don't think these guys get far enough away to despawn. Because, like, we have to go all the way to the very edge here to get the candles to despawn. Like, they despawn right about here. And the candles are significantly farther than the rats. So, yeah, I don't think we get rat respawns unless I clear them out. So, yeah, my chances of getting a shiny Patrat are actually very, very slim. I pretty much have to get rid of the Patrats in order to cycle them to begin with. Hey there, guard. I am looking for a shiny candle. Because even though I've already got the full line shiny in Scarlet and Violet, I don't have a shiny candle in this game for my shiny Mega Dex. I've already gotten 2 shiny pumpkins, which I got way earlier than I should have. So yeah, I'm due for a slapping down in terms of odds here. Given that on average we'll have to run back and forth 500 times before I find even one shiny candle, I am gonna get out a stopwatch and discover how long it takes for me to do the full run forward and back here. So if I start now, hang on, let's reset here. I need to actually be running. Start. So if I stay running and I just go all the way to the gate at the end here and then turn around and go all the way to where we can see candles. So it's going to be a minimum of about 14 seconds per check. And now we can take that number and do some math. At 14 seconds per check, if we need to take 500 checks on average, that'll be 7,000 seconds, which if we convert to minutes is 116.6 repeating minutes. So on average, it will take 2 hours minimum. Because again, that was using the pretty close to minimum time per cycle here, considering I started the count all the way forward, but then I stopped the count when I saw both candles, which neither one was behind a pillar, and therefore I got to do the shorter version. So yeah, on average about 2 hours to find one shiny candle using this method. Yeah, Curbster, I fully understand both missing and resenting Patrat over the years and now. Considering that Patrat only appeared catchable in the wild in specifically Generation 5. It was available in Generation 6 through breeding, and Watchog could be found in the Friend Safari, but Patrat itself was never in the wild except in Black, White, Black 2, and White 2 until this game. And yes, now there are a few too many of them, but what you gonna do? I'm not looking forward to 2 whole hours of this. Not gonna lie. 2 hours of running back and forth for candles is a lot of hours of running back and forth for candles. Especially when you consider that it's a 14-second, roughly, cycle here. But if I were to just knock out the candles and do the wait for a respawn and then reset method, if I manage to save close enough to when they spawn in, which is roughly the 2-minute mark, then I can get it down to approximately 8 or 9 second cycles, which is faster. And also, that way I won't have to use my analog stick and can instead just use home X A. So it's a lot of A presses, but less stick usage, which is probably better for the longevity of my controller, if we're being honest. Not to mention being more time efficient. But it's less visually interesting. Because, like, yeah, I can be running back and forth and we can see the same sewer, but at least it's a moving sewer. And the colors are shifting as things get farther away, and thus the distance fog kicks in. So, like, yeah, we're at least getting some visual distinction, and we're getting music the whole time. Versus if we do the respawn and reset method, then we're mostly spending our time looking at load screens and or the Switch 2 menu. which is significantly less visually interesting and certainly less auditorially interesting. So this is the better audio-visual experience by far, even if it is the worst time experience and the worst controller experience. And sometimes you gotta go for entertainment value over, as bare as the entertainment may be, entertainment value over time value. And yeah, I know, Outlander, there is zero chance that anyone is completely just dedicated to watching the stream the whole time. I am not gonna be surprised in the slightest to learn that every single one of you just has this on in the background while you're doing your own stuff, just using my voice and this music as white noise. But again, that's why I brought in the auditory interest of the music. Because if there was no music going on, then that would be even less of this stream that is worth anything at all to anyone. It's a very special type of person who watches a shiny hunting stream and actually watches the shiny hunting stream. There's a little bit more value into watching with your eyes a shiny hunting stream in, say, Scarlet and Violet, where there's no shiny noise. But in this game, you can't just spot a shiny that the streamer doesn't and be like, oh, you missed it! Because in this game, A, the shiny gets saved by the game, and B, it will announce its presence. Wow, Calfor is actually watching and not doing anything else. That is a real diehard fan. And Guard, the way the shiny sound works in this game, I believe it plays at about 40 meters, whereas a Pokemon will spawn in at 50 meters. So they can be spawned in for a little bit before the shiny sound plays, but then it will play the sound again when you get close enough to target them. So it'll play at like 40 meters and then again at like 20 meters. So yeah, you cannot miss a shiny in this game. You really can't. Hey, you know what, Guard? I know you like these things. Might as well have it run with me. Because why would I not run with a large blue woman? Well, there's a ball for the ball picker-upper to pick up, because I did not intend to hit ZR there. I was just adjusting my hand's position on the controller and accidentally hit the trigger. You know what? While we're in make ball picker-upper guy pick up balls mode. There, now he's got some Master Balls to pick up. Won't that be exciting for him? What a day. Yeah, Curbster, I have two shiny women myself. I have one in large and one in regular size. Actually, what size is she? I can't check while these rats are on me. Gardevoir, kill the rat. And there's still another rat on me. Gardevoir, kill the rat. I'm introducing risk that we will find a shiny rat eventually. But It is in the name of seeing what size my other shiny woman is. Specifically. Yep, she is medium. Unsurprising, medium is the most common size because it's the largest range. But yes, I have large shiny woman and large shiny man. And as we all know, largeness is the most important stat. Actually, there's something else that I've been meaning to check, because the shiny Gardevoir doesn't feel as reddish as she did in previous games. And I wonder if that's just a lighting of current area thing, or if that's an actual thing. So let's see here. If we flip back and forth between shiny and non-shiny. Yeah, the shiny is a smidge redder on the white. Like, the white is a little bit redder than it is for the non-shiny. But it's not as dramatic as it was in Legends Arceus, I don't believe. Which is good, because I actually prefer only having really the blues and reds change significantly. I don't like them looking like they're mildly sunburnt. Yeah, Guard, wondering what new abilities the Megas have is certainly a fascinating thing to consider. There is one that we can be fairly certain about, given the stat changes they gave for Mega Starmie and the fact that it gained more points than any other Mega. We can be almost certain that Mega Starmie is going to get huge power. But beyond there, it's a big question mark. My guess is Feraligatr gets Iron Jaws or whatever the heck it's called. That makes bite moves stronger. Care to guess why I think that? I'm gonna guess Meganium either sticks with Chlorophyll or gets solar power. Because those just seem like they would make sense for it. I have no idea what Embor's gonna get. It'd be funny if Pyroar ended up with Unnerve, but I don't think that's going to happen. And the only reason I say that is because just the way Mega Pyroar's main looks is kind of unnerving. Wow, Curbster, you got it. You got the answer for why I think Mega Feraligatr is gonna get Iron Jaws or whatever it's called. It is, in fact, the toilet seat that it doesn't keep down. Let's take a look at a list of the new Megas, because I'm having trouble remembering all of them off the top of my head. And then we can try to reason what their abilities are going to be. So, Mega Clefable, it becomes a flying type. I wouldn't be surprised to see it get either Pixelate or Aerolate. Just, I mean, looking at it, everything about it just screams, this is a fairy that flies. So it'd probably get something related to its flying type. Aerolate seems possible, though it would also be a little weird for it to get that when that's you know, Mega Salamance's thing. Mega Victory Bell, I wouldn't be surprised if it got some, like, special poison ability that just referenced how much poison it's stuffed full of. Maybe let it hit steel types with poison moves or something. Mega Starmie, we are fairly certain is going to be huge power. Mega Dragonite, again, a Mega Evo that looks kind of focused on the flying typeness. Thought I saw a slightly different colored candle there. I did not. But as far as what they would focus on for its flying typedness, that I'm not sure. I don't want to just go with Pixelate for everything that becomes more flying. Or not Pixelate, Aerolite. Pixelate on Dragonite would be fascinating. Pixelate on Dragonite would actually go pretty hard. Imagine a fairy type extreme speed that gets boosted 20%. Yeah, I don't think they're going to give Dragonite anything that changes the types of normal moves, because extreme speed. That'd be a little bit busted. Man, one of the things that kind of holds Dragonite back is its lack of a good stab for flying. Oh, but Mega Dragonite is a special attacker, not a physical attacker. I mean, it's close enough that it can do a mix, but its special attack is higher, so yeah, I wouldn't really need to have flying type extreme speed when it can just use Hurricane and do good damage with it. Then again, Hurricane isn't exactly ideal outside of a rain team. Mega Skarmory, Tough Claws seems like kind of a shoo-in. Mega Frostlass. I don't know for her. Her dex entry says she can freeze even conceptual things or whatever. Not conceptual, intangible things. So maybe something related to that. Something that boosts her ice moves or else isolate. Mega Emboar, I have no idea what it's gonna get. Probably something related to the fact that they give it a spear. Mega Excadrill, I would laugh if they just kept it Mold Breaker. Because now he's got a big drill, he can break molds even easier. But no, maybe Mega Excadrill, they'll give him a move that boosts, or not a move, an ability that boosts the damage of contact moves. I could see that. Mega Scolipede, definitely going to be something related to his armor. So if it was just battle armor, that would be kind of lame. And if it was weak armor, it would also be kind of lame. Maybe it'll get some new move. Probably something that is more of a defensive ability, I would guess. Like maybe Overcoat or something. Mega Scrafty. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't really change too much. Maybe he won't get a different ability. Megas don't always have to have different abilities. Mega Electros. Honestly, I kind of just hope Mega Electros keeps Levitate. Levitate's kind of the only thing keeping Electros remotely viable, but then again, if they give it just some crazy good ability, it might still be able to make some use out of it. Mega Chandelure. I honestly kind of hope it doesn't lose Flash Fire. Flash Fire is just good to have. Like, yeah, it already resists fire without it, but having an extra immunity for a switch in is generally nice. Mega Chestnut, I wouldn't be surprised if they just gave it some brand new ability related to its axes. Maybe give it whatever Cleavor's got. I don't know what ability Cleavor gets. Yeah, maybe just give it whatever Cleavor's got. Cleavor's got axes too. Mega Delphox, better not be Magician, I'll tell you that much. And Mega Greninja also, not sure what it would get. Speed Boost would be interesting, but then again, Greninja kind of doesn't need it, and Mega Greninja kind of needs it even less. 142 is a pretty good speed stat, not gonna lie. Mega Floette is counted as a legendary, so we probably don't even have to care what it's got. Not for a couple seasons. Mega Malamar. I don't know. It would help if I was more familiar with more abilities, if I'm honest. Barbarical, I don't know, Tough Claws? He's got a lot of them. And Tough Claws on a rock fighting type, actually would get pretty decent value. Mega Hawlucha, I wouldn't be surprised if it got a brand new ability that just is super showboaty. Mega Zygarde almost certainly going to have some unique ability to it that no one else gets and is busted. Mega Drampa. Some ability related to getting mad about things, probably. Maybe something that increases its damage when it's below half health, like the opposite of Defeatist. And Mega Phalanx, something that's gonna be there specifically for comedic value. And yeah, Curbster, probably not gonna be Swarm on Chestnut. Sharpness, maybe. I could see Levitate on Mega Delphox, considering it's always flying on that broom. And now that I am back on the window with the chat on it, Curbster, Mega Scrafty I'm pretty okay with. I don't dislike his new hoodie. And I actually kind of like how it goes a vibrant purple when it's shiny. So like, yeah, I'm okay with it. And Mega Pyroar is one of those megas that honestly kind of gets saved by its shiny. Because it at least becomes visually interesting. I'm going to get rid of this patch rat so we can look at it. Actually, I could have looked at it without it because the Pokedex you're allowed to open in combat. But yeah, Mega Pyroar, where are you? Mega Pyroar, Mega Pyroar. There you are. Mega Pyroar, when it goes shiny, its mane at least changes color. Like, it's Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the colors, but it's at least something more interesting than standard Pyroar in shiny. It's not just light brown lion with same mane. On the subject of the Mega Kalos starters, even if I hadn't done the 20 battles it took to get myself up to rank A, I would have been able to get my Greninjite next season anyway, because you only got to get to rank Y to get it next season. Which is, do one ranked battle and don't AFK. Stop being rude to my Gardevoir. Stupid rat. We're only gonna have to get to, what, rank S, was it? To get the Delphoxite? Which, one good battle and you're there. I'm guessing they received feedback about how people didn't want to do so much battling to get their Greninjite, and how people didn't want to have Greninjite be locked behind specific seasons even if they promised to rerun it. So yeah, that's probably why they've changed how many battles we need to do to get the Mega Stones from future seasons, and how the past season's Mega Stone is available super early into the next season. So yeah, that's a thing. All right, Candles, you got one more check before I'm bouncing from this sewer. I'm getting bored of this. I've actually been bored of it for a while. I've just been distracting myself with talk of things like megas and whatnot. And those aren't shiny candles, so we are leaving the sewer for now. Goodbye, sewer. Now, here's the thing. I said we were going to be looking for ghosts, but ghosts aren't the only things that are Halloween-y, now are they? No, I dare say they are not. Why, anything that is spooky and or scary can count. So let's see if there's anything spooky and or scary that I want that isn't a ghost. Because as much as I do need a Sableye, there's what, like 4 spawns and you gotta go around in a big circle to see them all? It's kind of lame. But what's spooky and or scary? Like snakes, bugs, dark types? I don't think I really need many of any of those. Oh, you know what's really spooky? Fish. Why, every time I look at a fish, I'm like, oh no, it's a fish! Who hasn't looked at a fish and be like, "Ooh, no, look at those dead eyes. Ooh, it's a spooky fish." And if we're being real, a fish was the star of one of the most critically acclaimed scary movies of all time. Jaws is a horror film. And boy, was that a good fish. And therefore, fish. Though if we're looking at shiny Magikarp line things that I have in my Pokemon home, I do have several. Because when they had the Magikarp outbreaks in Scarlet and Violet that had a 1 in 200 shiny chance, I took the opportunity to get myself a male and a female Magikarp ×2 so that I could also have a male and a female Gyarados, because gender differences, hooray. And let me just tell you, I ended up with, I think, 5 extra male Magikarps before I found my second female. And yes, Outlander, if I wanted to be going for the really spooky fish, I'd be going over here for the shark. And the piranhas. And the electric eels. They're all valid spooky fish. And I mean, hey, these guys are dark type, that's spooky. Because in Japanese, the dark type is the evil type, not the dark type. But here's the issue with that. The issue with that is sitting right here. I already have a shiny Alpha Sharpedo from this very place because there is a bench above my head. Well, not above my head right now, but above my head if I was like where that right Dynamo was, that I was able to use to get a shiny Dynamo and a shiny Alpha Sharpedo. And Outlander, the shiny Staryu, which evolves into shiny Starmie, that is closer to being a horror trope thing than you might initially believe, because Staryu itself is already based on popular Japanese alien film with invaders from space who are starfish, and it looks like, oof. Getting a shiny Sableye is gonna suck because they don't even fully despawn if you do the circuit here. So you don't even get 4 repeatable checks. So for shiny Sableyes, I don't know what the good method is gonna be for them. Now, unfortunately, the times that Staryus can spawn here in Zone 2 is nighttime, which means there are fewer fish, and we all know that fish are the horror movie monsters, not starfish. Though starfish are also horror movie monsters because of the film that I literally referenced moments ago. Oh, you know what's the most horrifying of all horror movie monsters? Groups of guys who want to kill you. Therefore, Phalanx is a horror movie monster. And I'm pretty sure there have also been horror films starring frogs, but I already have the shiny big frog. Oh, but you know what the real, most terrifying thing possible is? The unknown. And there's no telling what the two alphas under the tower are going to be. Who knows? They could even be another shiny Barbaracle so that I can reclaim my shiny Alpha Barbaracle that I missed due to being a fool. Hey, we could also get Sableye in here. Nah, Curbster, the Phalanx are a group of guys who want to kill you. Pyroar, that's mostly ladies, the pride of Pyroar. And yeah, you can say that lions are scary and go for that, but I already have a shiny alpha male Pyroar. And so I am set on shiny Pyroars for my alpha decks. Or not my alpha decks, my shiny decks. My shiny mega decks. There we go. That's the thing that it's for. Shiny mega decks. Because the megas do not have gender differences, I don't need to worry about getting different gender forms for things. And there's nothing like a dose of the unknown to inspire terror. There's no telling what we're gonna find under the tower at any given time. Other than not a shiny most of the time. Considering we're looking at only 2 checks, once again, we are going to average 1 shiny per 1 shiny per 500 trips in. Or thereabouts. And therefore, our chances are not great. Also, dealing with this Dragalge is going to get annoying. I could get rid of it. Ooh, I like that Metagross. Two Metagross in a row. What are the odds? Not great, I'll tell you that. So, we found 1 Metagross. The chances of that are irrelevant because finding the first Metagross is always going to happen if you find 2 Metagross. There's a shiny woman. Not the shiny I was looking for, but I won't say no. Ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. Save while she is still in the ball there. Okay, we're good. Shiny woman obtained. That is the second shiny Gardevoir I have found here. Though actually the first one I found was more over there. Yeah, as I was saying, anytime you're looking for 2 spawns in a row, the first one is always going to happen, so you really just need to look at the chances of the next one happening immediately. Which, in this case, it's what? There's 66 things that can spawn there? Something like that? I'll check. It helps if I go to the correct page. Not a fan of there being freaking Diggersby there. I've got too many shiny Diggersbys already going for a shiny Chespin. Okay, let's actually get the page up. Legends Z-A. Alpha Pokemon. That's not a shiny Garchomp, is it? Nope. Alpha Pokemon, Legends Z-A. There we go, I am at the correct page. Now I just gotta scroll down a ways. There's 6 per row here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows plus 1. So there are 67 potential spawns here. And we got one mega, not mega, anything, one Metagross. And then immediately we got another Metagross in the next set of 2. So we need to look at the chances of there being no Metagrosses in a set, which is 66 out of 67 squared. So the chances of finding back-to-back Metagrosses are approximately 3%. So roughly 1 in every 34 trips in here, we will have that happen, where we will see the same thing that we just saw. It's actually kind of a shame that we got the shiny Gardevoir here, because that spawn could have been a Roserade, which I don't have a shiny Roserade. Or it could have been a Bulbasaur, which I need. Or a Chikorita, which I wouldn't complain about. Gardevoir was literally the least valuable thing that could have spawned shiny in that spot. Because it's the thing that I already have multiples of in my Pokemon home, as well as in this game already. This very file. I now have 3 blue women, one of whom is extra large, the other of whom... one is extra large, one is medium, and let's find out what size this one is. Large. So at least she's bigger than one of my blue women. I do not mind getting bonus size. I now have 3 sizes of blue woman. But still, I'm not one to turn away a shiny, but Blue Woman is the shiny I would least have wanted from that slot. The fact that we got this fog going on is making it tougher to tell whether certain subtle shinies are shiny. Because, like, if you see a Totodile from the front in the fog, it's not as easy to tell apart from a from a shiny Totodile or a non-shiny. Then again, I suppose I don't really have to care whether I can tell if something's shiny or not, because either I will hear the sound or it'll get saved anyway, so yeah, I just don't even have to bother with caring about anything other than what I can immediately identify with my eyes. I had actually also considered doing a Monster Hunter stream today for spooky season because, hey, we've got Dream Spell still going on. The reason I elected to do this game is because A, I didn't have any shiny Pumpkaboos yet. B, I really like the shiny Pumpkaboo. C, I still had a side mission to do, so I wanted to get that done. And D, I had a stupid idea in the shower last night that I ended up not going with. Hey, look, that's a big Squirtle. I don't need a big Squirtle. Yeah, my stupid idea that I had in the shower last night is something that would not have panned out. Specifically, I tried to make it pan out, or tried to test and see if it would pan out, rather. And it didn't. This stream was originally going to be called Pumpkin Hunt. Like, instead of pumpkin, Pokémon. And the idea was, oh, what if I read Edgar Allan Poe stories while shiny hunting to give something else of interest to pay attention to? But I found that paying attention to shinies and moving around and whatnot is a lot harder when you're trying to read something on the side the whole time. So while it would have been amusing to do the pun and to read Edgar Allan Poe stuff because, ooh, spooky. Yeah, I don't have the faculty required to read prose while also controlling my character properly for a shiny hunt and paying attention to shinies that show up. And since I realized that that wasn't going to work, I decided, hey, you know what? I still want to get that shiny Pumpkaboo, and therefore... And also to do the final side mission on camera. And therefore, we're here. Here we are, doing this on Halloween. But you know what? I think tomorrow we're going to do some Monster Hunter for Dream Spell anyway. Because I like that. Hello, Metagross. I love Metagross. Every time I see Metagross, it makes me happy. Which is why it's so upsetting that this game made me wait so long to get one of my own. And made me do rude things to one that, to Beldums that could not belong to me. And then also didn't even bring Meteor Mash, but I can forgive it. I can forgive this game for making all that happen. And the reason I can forgive this game for that is because they made Metagross super good in competitive ranked. As opposed to non-competitive ranked, I guess. Saw a tier list put together by the Japanese community as to which Pokemon are the best in ranked. There were 3 Pokemon in S tier. Metagross, Garchomp, and Excadrill. And seeing Metagross being in such a small top tier will always warm my heart. Incidentally, Dragonite was in, I believe, A+ tier. And Greninja was like B+. And I saw this after I made my team for ranked, which did very, very well for me, of Metagross, Dragonite, and Greninja, though admittedly Greninja hardly ever touched the field. And honestly, I probably should have replaced it instead of keeping it the whole time. And Metagross not having Meteor Mash still makes me sad because I love Meteor Mash as a move. I love its name, I love its animation, I love that it can get attack boosts, I love its power. But at least they made Heavy Slam, or whatever it is. Yeah, Heavy Slam. They made it real good in this game. Like, it is the thing to use with Metagross against almost everything. Does tons of damage, is a rather quick animation, and effectively warps the Metagross to its target, thus functioning as a gap closer. So, like, yeah, it real good. Metagross real good. Good Metagross good. Me like good Metagross. Metagross make me happy. And the fact that once you Mega Evolve Metagross, it's always flying instead of stomping around sometimes, also happens to make it faster at moving around, which is also useful. So I was going with Metagross with Metagrossite. My Dragonite had a Life Orb. And my Greninja had an Assault Vest because I didn't know what else to put on it, really. Didn't have a Greninjite, so I wasn't going to use that. As soon as night falls again, I'm gonna give up on this hunt for the unknown, which is truly scary. And instead, we're going back to pumpkin hunting. Because once night falls, we can get pumpkins of size. And I like things that are big. Possibly because I am big. I am 6'4", which is very large. Generally. I'm in the top percentile of all humans. So really, youngster Joey's Rattata and I have something in common. Hey look, it's a Metagross! I sure hope I get to find a shiny unknown alpha. Unknown spelled with a K, not without. Those are very different things. Before we have to leave here. Then again, I guess I kind of already found an unexpected shiny here in my blue woman. And asking for another shiny before sunset is asking for me to once again be very, very under odds for things. Which I suppose isn't generally unusual for me when I'm streaming. My luck tends to be quite fantastic when it comes to shinies, I guess. There are some things where my luck is absolutely trash, like, say, young cuckoo ears and omega nodules. But when it comes to shiny Pokemon, I get really good luck in general. Unless that shiny Pokemon is a Landorus. Or a Mesprit. But considering I got 2 shiny Pumpkaboos today already, yeah, I can't complain about my shiny luck today. Literally can't. I've gotten 3 shinies today, all of which were just random spawns, not set up in advance or anything. As evidenced by the fact that the Pumpkaboos I had to go through several times to find, and then the Gardevoir was not here when I first showed up. So yeah, I can prove that I did not set them up in advance. Because in this game, you absolutely can set up shinies in advance all over the city and then be like, oh, I'm going to shiny hunt in this area today. Oh, wow, look at this shiny I found totally randomly. Let's go shiny hunt somewhere else since we've already gotten one here. Oh, wow, look at this shiny I found totally randomly. You can do that with up to 10 shinies in this game. But I did not. There is video evidence of it. Well, there's a non-shiny Alpha Barbaracle. Still wish I didn't lose myself the shiny Alpha Barbaracle. Even though Barbaracle was the first shiny I got in my copy of Pokemon X. Or not X, Y. When I was playing through it, like, just normal style. And night has fallen. Might as well check the unknown one last time. And no shiny. So, pumpkin time! But yeah, first shiny I found in my regular copy of Pokemon Y for my actual playthrough was a Barbaracle. I named it Glam Hands. Because back then I was in the habit of naming every shiny I found because they were at least a little bit rarer back then. And I have a habit of nicknaming things based on their traits. And for shiny things, I've always wanted to... Well, I guess I was only nicknaming my shinies, but I wanted to have their name at least reference the fact that they were shiny somehow. And thus Glam Hands, because he had hands and he was glamorous. So fun fact, I had a friend help me with all the trait evolutions I thought I needed. Turns out I need more, even if we don't count the shinies. But I had them do all of them at once. There were like 28 trait evos to do, or 22 or something. 20-something, I know it was that. I think it was 28, though. And, yeah, in all of that, we were just trading my Pokemon back and forth because they didn't have trade evos to do or whatever. And I only learned after the fact that the Mabel task for doing trade evos only counts if they evolve on your side. And thus my friend got that research task done many times over. And I had to go to the Trade with Randos mines. That is a Jumbo Alpha. Shame it's not also shiny. Yeah, thankfully the Trade with Randos mines for Trade Evos is generally pretty easy, because you just do the Lumiose Pokedex number repeated twice as your trade code. And you will almost always get someone who is looking to trade that Pokemon for that Pokemon for Trade Evos. And only in one instance did I get someone who refused to give the thing back afterwards. And thus did I lose out on, I believe it was a Gengar. Yeah, it was. I traded them a Haunter, thinking, hey, you know, might as well just get some Gengars done. But no, they kept it. They gave me a freaking Bellsprout back, and then I tried to, you know, show a Gengar multiple times, and then set the Bellsprout back for trading, and then the next thing they offered was, I think, I don't remember what it was. It was something stupid that I definitely didn't want. Maybe it was a Floette. It's like, no, that's not how this works. You give me my Gengar back. But they did not give me my Gengar back. And I think it was an Alpha, too. But it didn't matter. I already had an Alpha Gengar. I already had an Alpha Haunter. I only traded things that I had extras of. I just kind of wanted to get my Pokemon back. But I didn't, so yeah, I released the thing they traded me. If they wanted my Gengar that badly, they could have it. It wasn't shiny. No way in hell am I ever trading a shiny to someone who I do not fully trust. But either way, it was easy to get my trade evos for the Mabel task. It just cost me a Gengar. Whipping out my stopwatch again, out of sheer curiosity. So we're gonna get out of here. We'll start the stopwatch timer as soon as I start this fast travel. Here we go. Then we're gonna run through here, looking at things as I... What? I appear to have broken a Gourgeist. And then we warp back and stop the timer. So about 20 seconds per cycle through here. And what were the odds again? We're looking at 7 Pumpkaboos. So we go 1023 out of 1024. And then we take that to the 7th power to find the chances of none of them being shiny. And yeah, so it's approximately 0.7% chance of finding a shiny on any given run through. So 0.7 out of 100 is 0.7% because that's how that works. 7 out of 1,000, so that's a number. How many 7s go into 1,000? Gee. 142. So we can say that on average, it'll probably take around 142 trips through here to find a shiny Pumpkaboo. We're being very loose with the math here, but whatever. Actually, 143 if we're rounding. Ooh. So, 143 times 20 is 2860 seconds. If we divide by 60, that is 47.6 repeating minutes. So, approximately 48 minutes to find a Pumpkaboo on average, making several assumptions. And I already found 2 in, like, that amount of time. So yeah, I've already been far too lucky. I can't complain about not finding any more shiny Pumpkaboos here tonight. And yet... Unfortunately, it's another large. I was really hoping for a jumbo. How dare this game not give me the better one that is rarer. So, today is looking like probably a 4 shiny stream. I think once day breaks, we are going to call it a stream. Because I've been at this for long enough and needing to do more active commentary just in order to keep myself entertained and to hopefully keep you folks more entertained than you otherwise would be if I was just doing this in silence. And yeah, I'm gonna want to rest my vocal cords for a while after this. It's bringing back memories of when I first started doing this more than 10 years ago now. It was 10 years in August. On August 24th, I believe, 10 years ago, was when I started this channel. And I remember when I first started, it was really rough on my throat and my vocal cords. I wasn't used to speaking for so long in a given stretch of time, so... Back then, I was pretty much mainlining a cough drop before and after... Well, not a cough drop, but a throat lozenge before and after every recording session, just to try and keep my throat happy. And yeah, I eventually got much more used to it and was able to speak for longer without discomfort. But when I'm doing a stream like this, where I'm doing more speaking per time unit and taking less time to rest my voice, whereas for most streams I have periods of quiet where I let the game do the talking or whatever. Yeah, this has been more of a chatty/yappy stream. And thus it has been more tiring on the old vocal folds. And I'm feeling it. So yeah. Honestly, I do kind of wish that I could be more yappy like this during more of my streams. It would be better for engagement and interaction, that's for sure. But I'm generally a relatively low energy streamer, as I think you are probably all aware by this point. I can definitely get excited about things, but I'm not the type who screams when he sees something exciting. I go like, ooh, it's a shiny! And then I'm done with it. And looks like this is my last run through. Even if I find the shiny Pumpkaboo here, it's probably going to despawn. And yeah, nothing. Tell you what, I'll do one more run through, considering I'm already in this area and the respawns have just happened. So I will run through the other way until I'm out of this wild zone. And also there's one other thing I want to check. Just out of personal desire. Which I guess means that I'm letting this game distract me with something that I want to do yet again. But that's pretty normal for me and this game. I just want to go over here because during the day, and only during the day, you can get, what's it called? The little yellow guys. Helioptile. That's what they're called. Sometimes I need to see a Pokemon, like, with my actual eyes, see the actual thing, and not just with my imagination, in order to remember its name. But pretty much every time I see a Pokemon, I can name it with, I believe, 100% accuracy. I'm pretty good about that. But Helioptile isn't the prize here. The prize would be a shiny Aron or Laren. Or Onyx, because I need one of those to be a Steelix for my decks. But anyway, that is going to be it for this stream. Thanks, folks, for dropping by to watch and chat and all that. And I will be back tomorrow for some Monster Hunter Wilds streaming, because Dreamspell is still a thing, and I need a ton of event tickets from Dreamspell things. See you then, friends.